Hi, this is Darnell with Wave Over Recipes, and this is my review of the Ninja Prestige Smart XL Air Fryer and Convection Oven with Pro Cook. Let's go ahead and get it unboxed. Alright, now that everything is unboxed, let me show you what it comes with. You get two wire racks here. You also get an air fry basket. There's a drip pan down on the bottom inside. I'll show you that. There's a grill rack, and there's two bake pans. So you get two bake pans here. You put the grill rack into the bake pan like that when you're cooking things that have drippings. Also, you get a thermometer. So we'll go through the thermometer system. And it comes with a little bit of paperwork. There's the manual. And there's also basically like a recipe guide here. So you get a lot of recipes in this book. Good number of recipes. The book itself is 41 pages total. There are some cooking charts at the end to give you some guidance for some pages. So they give you a good bit of accessories, good bit of information. So a lot of stuff is given with this, and the power cord, it's a 36-inch long power cord, 3 feet, and it's a 3-prong grounded power cord, so fully grounded power cord there. I like that. And the cooker is 1800 watts, so that's a lot of power, and so that's very good. That means this cooker should do some really good work for us. And with 1800 watts, you definitely don't want any other stuff running on the same circuit with this cooker. When this cooker is in action running, you don't want anything else in your house that's on that same power circuit, or that circuit's probably going to get blown. And so keep that in mind. Now let me go over the outside dimensions of the cooker. It's 17.09 inches in length, 20.22 inches in width, and 13.34 inches in height. The inside dimensions, inside of the oven, it's 2.6 cubic feet, which is in inches of measurements, 12.1 inches in depth, 13.9 inches in width, and 10.1 inches in height. And they say that it can hold a 12-pound turkey, and that it can toast up to 9 slices of bread at one time. The cooker's total weight for it is 33.75 pounds. I will say it's a pretty big box that it comes in. It's a pretty large cooker. It has 10 cooking functions plus the thermometer options. The temperature ranges are between 85 degrees Fahrenheit to 450 degrees Fahrenheit, and the time ranges are between 1 minute to 24 hours, and those ranges of temperature and time depend on the function that you're using. They make sure to point out that the sheet pans are not non-stick, is what they say. They say it's enamel coating, and they recommend using a liner on it. So keep that in mind as well. Now, although this is a pretty heavy cooker, I'm going to try and give you a show around so that you see around it. You see on the side there, you got some air vents going on, and on that side, and then around the back here, I'll show you the back. It's got a hump in the back there, got some probably air intake there for the fan, or maybe that's exhaust there for the fan, for air to come out. So that's your look around, and up underneath you see there, and looks like there's some air gaps there, so pretty interesting design. So now let me give you a close-up view of things. You see that you have the power buttons and all on the handle. That's just like the Ninja Foodi XL Pro air fry oven had the controls on the handle there. And it's interesting, you may have noticed that they aren't using that Foodi name in cookers that they bring out now. It seems like they've left that Foodi name behind. Everything else, well, everything has a different name now. that's coming out from Ninja. Gonna open up, go inside. I do want to point out inside here, you see the insulation on the door. So that's really good to have the insulation on all sides, totally around the door. That's also very similar to the Ninja Foodi XL Pro air fry oven. So here's our drip pan there, that down bottom. Inside we have two heating elements on the bottom. You see the fan in the back. It's an open fan there in the back. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 rack levels here. Up here on the right corner, you've got the light up there in the corner. Up top, you've got 1, 2, 3 heating elements up there, up top. And there's an ambient probe over here, right there in the corner there. So those are all the things going on inside. Over there on the left side, nothing going on there. And you see the bottom again and the top. So that's your look around inside. Alright, for side-by-side comparison, there only needs to be one. And we've got the Ninja Foodi XL Pro air fry oven here on this side. And in comparison, you see that the sizes are very similar because they are very similar in size and height. I mean, just about identical there. I mean, so I run my hand across, about identical in size. So that's pretty interesting. I'm going to just do some exterior measurements to see if things are the same for each. Like if I run across the bottom, Ninja Foodi XL Pro, we got about 16 inches. I mean, it's somewhere under 16, but you know, it's real close. And then over here we've got a little, just a little longer. Yeah, it's a little longer. Just a touch longer. I mean, it's probably not even a full inch longer, but longer. So this one's a little over 16 by my measure, going this way. So about 16 and a half by my measure. Yeah, about 16 and a half there. So when we do the height, I mean, they're about identical to me. So they're both over 13, but like under 13 and a half for both. And then front to back, I mean, they have a hump. So I'm doing hump to handle, okay? I'm doing hump to handle. And I've got 20 over here on the old XL Pro, and then over here, I've also got, let's see, yeah, I've got roughly 20 here too. Got roughly 20 there too. So about the same front to back. Their height's about the same. On the width here, the Ninja Foodi XL Pro just a tad slimmer, just a tad. But don't fret that if you're wondering about accessories, because I think you're going to be happy with what I show you if you're an old Ninja Foodi XL Pro air fry oven owner compared to this Ninja Prestige. But I'm just going to do some inside measurements first. So front to back, now my old Ninja Foodi XL Pro air fry oven has a guard, so I'm going from the guard. And let's see, I'm seeing 12 inches front to back. They started, when they first came out with the Ninja Foodi XL Pro air fry oven, they had a guard and they had full equipment to be able to use the guard. Then they stopped, and so they don't have it anymore in the Ninja Foodi XL Pro air fry ovens that came out after the very first ones. So doing front to back, I have to do a correction. Front to back, I'm really 12 inches. And when I do it on the inside the fan guard, I am 12 and a half inches. Whereas on the XL Pro, front to back inside is 12 at the fan guard, off the fan guard, still about 12. But yeah, they're about the same front to back. Now over here, let's see, we're over 13 this way. Hold on, sorry. All right. Yeah, it's about 14 and a half side to side there. Over here, It is kind of messing up things there. Let's see. Yeah, it's about 14 and a half inside, side to side there too. So about the same side to side. Well, I said don't fret with the accessory. You see I got the rack from the XL Pro. And since they're side to side is the same, about the same, it goes in. And really, both of them are going equally as far back. But I wanted to show you that the racks, all your racks from the XL Pro are going to fit in the Prestige. And I got one other thing I want to verify for you. This should make some of you happy. This is the old dehydrator kit from my Ninja Foodi XL Pro air fry oven. The dehydrator kit fits in there perfectly in the Prestige. So if you have old XL Pro air fry oven accessories, they will fit in your Prestige just fine. So you don't have to worry about buying special accessories just for the Prestige. Alright, something I want to show real quick is using a 13-inch bake pan. And if your 13-inch bake pan has no handles, it's going to fit in there just fine. But if your 13-inch bake pan has handles on the end, it better fold down or it's not going to get in there. So 13-inch bake pan with handles, you're in trouble if they don't fold down. I just wanted to point that out to you. Alright, now let's do an initial plug-in of the cooker here. So I can grab a plug and get it plugged in. Plug it in right here. Now that it's plugged in, there's basically no response that I saw from the display, but if I hit the power button, things come on and it's getting drowned out by the light. So let me turn the light off. Alright, now that I have the light off, I hope you can see clearly the light up display and all the features there that we'll go through here now. And so I'm going to talk to you about each of the functions first. So the first function we'll go through, and here is our changing our functions button. So you press that and it changes the functions. So first function I'm going to go to is air fry and talk to you about air fry a little bit. Air fry goes between 250 degrees Fahrenheit to 450 degrees Fahrenheit, and it does 1 minute increments for time up to 4 hours. Next one I'm going to talk to you about is the air roast function. Air roast also goes between 250 degrees Fahrenheit to 450 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's 1 minute increments up to 4 hours. Air roast you would use for full-size sheet pan meals where you might have like a protein and vegetables. That's where you would use your air roast. Broil, where's the broil? Here's broil. Now broil, it has a high or a low option. So it's on the high option now, and I believe that the temp button changes there. So, oh no, that's time. So this is temp. Yeah, so temp you have low and high. Now, if you're doing low for broil, it's 450 degrees Fahrenheit. No, low is 400 degrees Fahrenheit. So low's 400, high is 450. And you can do 10-second increments up to 30 minutes. Next one I want to talk about is bake. So let me go down here to bake. Where's bake? No, bake's over on the other side. So there's bake. So with the bake function, you can do between 180 degrees Fahrenheit to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. 1 minute increments up to 4 hours. Next we'll talk about the toast function. So going over to toast. And there's toast where you get slices and shade options. And with toast, you can basically do a difference of total time depending on the slices and the shade that you select. But it basically goes between 30 seconds up to 10 minutes depending on the options you select. 30 seconds to 10 minutes. We'll talk about bagel. And with bagel, it's also going to be the same thing, 30 seconds to 10 minutes. Both bagel and toast cook at 450 degrees Fahrenheit. So they basically max things out for the amount of time that they run. Next, I'm going to talk about the dehydrate option. Here's dehydrate. And with dehydrate, you can go between 85 degrees Fahrenheit to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's in 15-minute increments for up to 24 hours. Next, we'll talk about reheat. So let's go over there to reheat. And with reheat, you can do between 100 degrees Fahrenheit to 450 degrees Fahrenheit in 1-minute increments up to 4 hours. And there's the pizza function there. And with pizza, you can do between 180 degrees Fahrenheit to 450 degrees Fahrenheit in 1-minute increments up to 4 hours. Then there is the whole roast function over here. And with whole roast, you can go between 250 degrees Fahrenheit to 450 degrees Fahrenheit in 1-minute increments up to 4 hours. You would use whole roast for things like a whole chicken or a whole turkey. And you see there's a rack recommendation, like whole roast, it's going to say put it down on the bottom rack 1. If you're using something like air roast, it's going to say, oh, put it up on 3. But you also have a 2-rack function, 2-level function that will tell you the recommended racks for 2 levels depending on the function that you're using. They do a type of a cooling air fryer fan cooling at the end of a cook, and so the cooling fan will stop after the temperature of the unit reaches below 95 degrees Fahrenheit. The fan will run till it detects it's below 95 degrees, so the time will vary how long the fan will run after a cook. So let's go over some more of these buttons on here. I've gone through the function button, the power button, the 2-level button. This is your light, so you can turn your light on and off. You can adjust your time with these buttons here. You can hold them and it'll go, faster. Then you've got your temperature adjustments there. And you've got your start and stop. Start, of course, will start the cook. You can press start stop once to basically pause. Well, basically it's just like a start pause button is really what it, you could consider it, because if you press stop, it's going to pause. And we'll get into, this is for the thermometer, we'll get into that in a moment. So to talk about the thermometer here, this is the thermometer holder that comes with the unit. And going to unwrap the thermometer here, like that. And something I want to show you about the thermometer holder, it does magnetically connect to the side of the unit. It is magnetic. I don't know if you want to have it on the side of the unit when you're cooking. If the side of the unit's got to get hot. I'm personally not going to leave it sitting on the side of my unit. It just feels like plastic. So I'm not going to leave mine on the side of my unit when I'm cooking and stuff. But that's my advice. Alright, to use a thermometer, you're going to take the jack end of the thermometer and you need to hook that in down under here. The jack is like down under here, under the door. And so I'm going to try and get that in. So I've got it in, and you see the thermometer light lights up once I got it in. So after you get it in, you want to select your function. Let's say I was doing a whole roast, for example, and you'd select your temperature. So let's say I want to roast something really hot at 400 degrees, whole roast. Yeah, but you could do that. And so after you've got it in, and you're going to have your thermometer, deep in your meat, in a deep, thick part of your meat. So let's just imagine that it's, there's some meat in there with it. Now there's no time when you actually start doing the cook with the thermometer, because you're going to be cooking to a temperature. So don't worry about time when you're using the thermometer. But basically you're going to use manual or preset. So when using the manual and preset buttons, this is manual, that's preset. This button down here is doneness. So basically you're going to hit like manual if you want to manually determine the done temperature. So we see it's got 107 degrees Fahrenheit. I could adjust that using the temperature button to whatever temperature you want. Once you invoke that, you see the time went away because we're cooking to a manual temperature that we set, or you can use their presets. So I hit preset and it gives me a preset of food. I can use this, hold on, use a function button, sorry. Use a function button to change the food types like fish, beef, chicken, pork. And after you do that, you can do a doneness. So if you press the doneness button, it goes between different doneness levels. So like medium rare pork 130, you can do medium 140, medium well 150, well 160, and it'll cook the temp. So you can do that for any of your different functions. Now chicken, I don't think you get an option. Chicken is going to be well done, and for good reason there. Let's go to beef. So beef, you can also do wellness levels on beef, whatever you prefer there. So this is how you use the thermometer. You can do either on the manual side, select your temperature, or you can do the preset and you can select the type of meat with your function buttons, and you can select your doneness level with the doneness button. Now I do want to point out, they did not mention in the manual from what I saw anywhere for changing the temperature from Fahrenheit to Celsius. So I guess if they sell a unit in a place where you do Celsius, maybe that unit is calibrated to do it, but they didn't show in the manual that I have a means to switch. I didn't see a means to switch it between Fahrenheit and Celsius on the temperature. Alright, so I've got an ambient probe in there now, and I'm going to be measuring temperature here. I'm going to be using the iGrill 2 to measure temperature. And so I'm going to close on up now, like so, and going to turn it on, and going to go to air fry, and for time, wait a minute, I'm hitting the 1-2 button, whoops, hitting the wrong buttons here. Yeah, I want 30 minutes time, and for temperature I'm going up to 450, and I just got one rack level 3, which is what I'm on. Now they do say that for your burn off you want to put all accessories in, and you want to do about 20 minutes on air roast at 450 to do a burn off of all the accessories. I'll get to that at some point, but I've got 30 minutes 450. I'm measuring temp now. I'm going to hit start, and it does a 90-second preheat, so don't expect it to reach the target temp in 90 seconds. It's just kind of a startup. We'll let this run for a moment. Alright, the 90-second preheat is done, and it's up to just 140 degrees Fahrenheit on the temperature read, but we'll let things keep going here. Alright, so things have been running for about 20 minutes now. I do want to point out, they say there's a heating element in the back, so on the fan. So in addition to the other heating elements inside that we saw, they say there's one on the back in there that's the fan is blowing hot air from, which is unlike the Ninja Foodi XL Pro air fry oven. But the temperature, I saw it go up to about 469, and it's kind of regulated back down, but it's at 449 now, so it's, yeah, about 450. It's keeping the temperature pretty well once it gets up to temp. Seems to have taken like maybe over 5, it took over 5 minutes. It was less than 10, but over 5 before it reached 450. So it was maybe around the 7-8 minute mark or so that it reached 450. But it got there, got up to 469, and then it started dropping. Now it's at 455, 458. So it kind of fluctuates, but it still stays around where it's supposed to be, which is a good thing. I want to show you for sound decibel testing. We're in the mid or near mid 50 mark when I'm not talking. So that fan is an audible fan there. Now I want to feel around the cooker. Down here, I'm able to put my hand down underneath it. Ooh, I touched the door. I did. Under the cooker is cool. I can keep my hand there, but you know, if you touch the bottom side of the door, of course it's pretty hot. The front, this glass is hot. I'm not touching that. Up top here, it's kind of hot. It's kind of hot. I don't want to keep my hand there. Over here on this side, it's a little hot. It's a little hot. Don't want to keep my hand there very long. Over on this side, same thing. The back, it's hot in the back. That opening in the back, I think that's an intake because I don't feel air blowing out on my hand really. It's not like the air is blowing out on my hand, so that must be an intake for the fan in the back there. And up at the top here, these air vents at the top do feel like they're blowing out. So it feels like it's blowing out at the top, but not where the center of the fan is. But this whole thing, I'd say this whole thing, you want to be careful with. It's hot. The whole thing's hot, okay? Now I'm going to test making changes on the fly, so sorry, I hit function. I keep hitting function with hit time and temp. But I can change the temp, well time, I just change the time on the fly, change the temp on the fly. So, yeah, it took the change. So you can change time and temp on the fly with no problem. Now I want to test when I pause, so press that button there and it pauses like it's supposed to. And then you hit it again. Now if you press it twice, it doesn't kill anything. If you press it twice, it's just going to pause and start up again. But when you open the door, oh wait a minute, it does pause when you open the door. Yeah, when you open the door far enough, it does pause. So they do have the auto pause door plus the start stop button. Alright, now I'm going to stop this. Just turn it off. And after I turn it off, let's see if the fan keeps going. Yeah, I think there's still some fan spin. So the fan's still going to cool things down in there like it's supposed to. But I'm going to turn it back on. And I'm going to go, yeah, I'm on air fry. I'm on 30 minutes 450. So it remembered exactly where I was earlier. It did not forget my cook. Going to unplug things. So I unplugged it, the fan stopped of course because I unplugged it. And plug it back in. And the fan started. As soon as I plugged it in, the fan started. So it detected, hey, I'm warm in here, even though I was just plugged in, and it starts the fan going immediately. Didn't do that when I initially turned it on. It was cool in there. But I turn it back on, it's still air fried 30 minutes 450. So it remembers everything, even if you unplug it. Alright, so I'm getting ready to do a toast test, but I wanted to point out the fan is still going from when I did a burn off earlier. So I'll say be prepared for the fan to run over 5 minutes, over 10 minutes. Don't think the fan's going to stop quick, because it's going to run for a good while until, as they say in the manual, it gets down to 95 degrees inside, and with a sealed door, that doesn't happen quick. So be prepared after you do cook, especially high temp cook, for the fan to run for a long time. If that's something you're not comfortable with, you know, maybe it's not for you. But I'm going to do a toast test now while it's still kind of warm. And I'm opening up, and I've got myself a couple slices of bread. I've got one slice that's buttered, another slice that's not. This is some spelt almond flour bread. I got a recipe here on the channel for it. It's a little more resilient than your store-bought bread, but it'll give us a good measure of how things go during a toast. And I think the cooker should regulate itself down, given it's a little warm inside. But I'll keep it at 4 slices. I'm going to do shade 4, so 4 and 4, and hit start. And We see that it's doing 4 minutes and 15 seconds. We'll let that count down and then we'll get the bread on out of there. Alright, coming to the end of the cook. And let's see how things look. See, this slice looks well cooked. I'm going to set it to the side for a moment, let it cool down before I try and touch and turn it over or anything. It's kind of hot. This other slice here, see that it melted the butter very well. Alright, so showing you these two slices of bread here. We see the unbuttered slice, the back side of the unbuttered slice, the back side of the buttered slice. So it does a fairly even toasting there. It's pretty good. Alright, so now I'm going to do a bake test. I've got some almond flour chocolate chip cookies here. I'll show you the recipe for a quick moment. But going to get them on into the cooker now. And you probably hear the fan still going. So it's still a little warm in there. I've got things in there on rack level 3. Turn it on. And going to go to bake. So going over to the bake function. And going to, I'll leave it at 20 minutes, 350. I won't need that long, but we'll just kind of watch it. So hitting start, and it'll do its quickie preheat. And I guess because it needs to preheat some, but we'll just watch it cook for a bit. Well, I'll let this go for 17 minutes after it's preheat, so I want to check on things now. The fan goes on bake, so that's interesting. The bake the fan runs. I think, yeah, they need a little more time. Some of them feel a little soft. But I haven't turned them at all. You see they look pretty even overall. That's a good thing about how this Prestige, just like the Ninja Foodi XL Pro, doesn't it doesn't lose heat. The seal helps it to keep heat. Alright, we've gone for 19 minutes now, so I'm going to check them again. I wanted to mention the light stays on for 5 minutes, so that's something to keep in mind. When you press the light button, it stays on 5 minutes. It's still, this one here still feels a little, yeah, they let them go for the last minute. I might just pull them after 20 and maybe just let the carryover heat finish them if they're still not done, but they feel like they need the full 20. Alright, cook in, time is up, and check them one more time, and hoping, Lord willing, yeah, they're feeling just about good enough now, but you see the finished product here. Let me try and make it a little more viewable. Looks like a pretty even cook overall. Pretty good job cooking things overall. So there you go. I'm going to set them aside. And now I'm going to do an air roast test. I've got a frozen salmon fillet here. I've seasoned it with some organic no salt seasoning and some lemon pepper seasoning. I used some extra light olive oil on it to help the seasonings kind of stick on since it's frozen. But going to put it on into the cooker, which is still a little warm. Right here on the third rack level up. I'm going to game the temperature probe a bit, so I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm turning it on, and I'm going to go up to the air roast function, and I'm going to cook it at 375 for the temperature. And then I'm going to hit the presets as if I have the probe in the meat, but I don't because it's frozen, but I'll show you later how I'll get around that. So let's see if I can hit fish, and for doneness, really, well, I would do 145, 150 is fine. So I'm going to go ahead and hit start. I've got the probe over here on the side, the meat probe. I haven't put it in the meat yet, but once the meat is tender enough, I'll slide the meat probe on in there and let it start tracking with the temperature probe. But for now, I'm going to probably let it run for about 10 minutes before I try and stick the meat probe in. Alright, so it's been running for a while. I'm going to try and stick the probe in there now. See, it does that auto pause when I drop that door down. Got the probe here. Yep, probe's going in. We're good. Close up. Let's see if that probe starts picking up. Yep, I think the probe is picking up now. Seems like it's pretty similar to where it was earlier though. Oh, now it's picking up better now. So it's coming along. So it's not an instant read thermometer, but it does get it. I think it's tracking it. So yeah. So we'll let it keep going. Alright, so it seemed to pick up on the end there pretty quick to get the temp. So I guess we've got a done fish there. I'm going to just double check the temp though, just to assess the accuracy. So I'm getting my separate instant read thermometer here. That looks pretty good though. See what this one says. Yeah, we're at it's saying 144. Well, down deep in that meat, it's saying 130s. Yeah, it's saying 130s down in the meat. Let's try and, yeah. I don't know. It seemed like it ended pretty quick, and it's still a little undercooked. So I think, it is a thin piece of meat. But yeah, I think what I'm going to do, I'll just leave that in there as it is. And I'm just going to game it further is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do air roast 375. And I'm going to, instead of it thinking that it's cooking fish, I'll take it over to beef, make it think it's cooking beef. And yeah, we'll just do that. Oh, it still thinks it's done. Alright. With that in mind, let me go back here. I won't do a meat probe. I'll just do a time, a manual time. I'll give it like 5 more minutes, and we'll let it go for 5 more, and then I'll bring you back. Alright, it hasn't been the full 5, but it might be okay. It might be okay now. I'm going to check it again now. See if it reached temp. Yeah, we're good and hot now. We're really hot. So, yeah, so we're good. So I'm going to take this out and set it aside, give it 5 minutes to reabsorb juices. Alright, so with the cookover, I know some of you may say that the cooker was stopping the fish early to allow carryover to finish it, but I didn't see any indications of that in the manual unless I missed that. I know in manuals for some of their other cookers, they do mention that they will leverage carryover, but in this case they did not. And going to 150, the fish wasn't even to 145. So, you know, if it was going to rely on carryover, no, I think the meat probe just wasn't as on point as I would have liked, in my opinion. I'll just leave that there, and anyone who disagrees can disagree. But I'm going to talk about cleaning the cooker. And with cleaning, it's best to hand wash everything. They recommend basically to unplug before you do cleaning, so that of course you don't electrocute yourself. And so they do suggest hand wash everything, it'll last longer. But they do say that the air fry basket and the wire racks can be put in the dishwasher. But of course, as I said, they'll last longer over time if you hand wash, is what they're saying. And so basically you want to use like warm soapy dishcloth and, you know, clean things down, and the wet one to wipe things off, dry things off afterwards. But of course the unit, you know, just obvious, you can't submerge the unit in water. But the accessories, you know, if you need to soak those, that's fine. So let's talk about the warranty. The cooker comes with a 1-year limited warranty, but we got some food to taste test. So I got some fish and a cookie here. I want to show you the bottom of cookie. It's fully cooked on the bottom and the top, so it's a pretty good even job all over for the cooker. But the fish, let me show you where I broke off this piece just now. So you see that? So thank God for the fish. Also, pray God I don't burn my mouth. Let's taste. Very moist, very juicy, very good. Let's try the cookie. Okay, so everything turned out well. The fish, you know, I'm not impressed by the meat probe. I'm not impressed. And so I'll probably always second guess it now. But all the same, the cooker has a lot of nice features. It can cook up all your food, and it can get everything done. The fish is very moist, just like the XL Pro. As far as air roasting things, very good. So it's a good cooker. It's got, you know, a lot of features. It can do a lot of things. It can hold all the accessories from the old XL Pro if you want to move to something new. So overall, it's a nice cooker, and the rest is up to you. But nothing in this video is sponsored. Nothing was given to me, and that's why I'm able to give fully honest opinions, because I don't do any of the deals. I'll just say that. But basically, in the video description, there are lots of ways to help the channel, such as my cookbook, merch, membership, donations, link to the Amazon shop where you pay the same price, but you help this channel when you use that link. And so, with all of that said, if you did like this video, please do give it a thumbs up. Share the video with a friend, leave your comments, subscribe, hit that notification icon, and good eating.